Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show, episode
149.
Woo!
I'm Bethany. This is Sparky. And who's this one? Rosie. Oh, she knows her name.
She knew her name. That was the dog who very well knows her name.
Oh, this is Rosie. Okay, guys, you can ask questions in the comments below, or you can private message us. You can also ask questions on our YouTube channel. All those things we will get to you if we can. So let's dive right in.
All right, let's do it. Let's go with this one.
The follow-up?
Follow-up, yep. So this is a follow-up from a question that we answered last week. The puppy wouldn't potty on walks, only at home. And Peace, Love, and Dre said this was beyond helpful. Got our first potty outside, her normal spot today. Thank you.
Yay!
Awesome, we love it.
Love to hear the positive feedback.
Very cool.
Negative feedback, keep to yourself. But we love the positive. No, I'm just kidding.
You know they're not going to. Okay, oh, I like this one a lot.
That's the one that's on.
From JG Rod, 6-month-old aggressive zoomie episodes. What to do about them? So the dog's not aggressive, but the zoomies are intense.
Sometimes like they will grab a foot,
or a
on their
leg
leg.
or pants or a shirt. Oh yeah, we've seen that a lot.
It can be intense. They're basically getting really, really worked up. It's kind of like when dogs are playing and it's going really well, and then all of a sudden they have a fight. It's like they're right on the line.
Of being overstimulated.
It's too much. You definitely want to calm them down. It doesn't mean aggression in the traditional sense, but it definitely is problematic.
I try to most dogs I think have a time where they tend to default to the crazy zoomies. Let's say between 6 and 7 p.m. Focus on those times and they're more likely to have it. And you can actually do some pre-training before the zoomies and possibly even work them through a majority of the energy that would have led to the zoomies. And if you're having trouble catching it because they just kind of do it randomly out of nowhere, make sure they have a leash on. Make sure they're either dragging it or you're holding it. And if they're about to zoom past you or you see them starting it, it's as simple as just putting a foot on the leash and catching it.
Yeah.
They kind of hit the end, bounce back, make sure they're on a harness, not a flat collar for that, so it doesn't hit their neck. And they usually just bounce back a step, give you a look like, oh, okay, what was that? And then you can redirect them.
For an older, bigger dog, I'm cool with flat collar, but we do definitely want to be clear with the younger puppies.
6-month-old. I didn't get a breed, so I don't want to say use a flat collar until I know what breed it is.
Yeah.
If you have a large breed, older dog, we're totally fine with it. A medium breed, older dog, we're also okay with it.
Like we wouldn't do a slip leash or flat collar for a 6-month-old Yorkie.
That was the exact breed I had in my mind too.
With that example, of just step on the leash and you can do a little pressure, slow them down. For me, I would also do, when he says redirection, I would also, I would have food on me, but I would also use it once they've calmed down a little bit. So I'm not presenting food when I have put my foot on the leash and I, stand up and pick up the leash. I would be like, let's go. That's my redirection. I wouldn't redirect to food right away. That was the clarity I was trying to get to. Sorry, it took me a second.
You want to spend a little bit of time because you want to make sure you're not rewarding the mentality and the mindset of super overstimulated.
Yeah.
So it's stepping on the leash, getting them to stop, picking up leash, redirecting them to place or any of the commands you've worked on, and working through a few routines over and over again until you kind of see the brain, the eyes change. When you see those really big dilated pupils, that's more crazy mode. When you start seeing them settle down and give you a bit more focus, that's work mode.
For a 6-month-old, I would definitely want to just do let's go work or come.
That's a good one.
I would want to redirect it and keep the dog moving.
She doesn't want to do stationary.
Yeah, but
movement is better.
But for a puppy that's still struggling, understanding how to follow me and hasn't had, a lot of accountability yet, I would definitely probably go for place.
6 months or older, what she just said for the movement, and then 6 months or younger, I would say place because the dog probably doesn't have really good movement-based commands yet, so station will be easier for him.
All right, let's jump into one of these. We rescued a 15-week-old puppy. This is Shola Jade. We rescued a 15-week puppy. She goes in her crate, settles with a reward. I want to be able to leave the crate door open eventually, and she likes being in there. How do I achieve this? Well, if you leave the crate door open, you're not really using it like a crate is meant to be used. However, lots of people I come across have crates in their living room instead of place. That way, sometimes they shut it, and then sometimes it's like place, and they leave the door open. So honestly, the dog just has to practice it a lot. They have to practice resting in there. And if you want... Whoa, big yawn. And if you want them to go in
So
there,
proud of herself.
if you want them to go in there and truly chill out with the door open, you practice on leash just like you would place command. And so if, you know, the dog gets out of crate, you know, with the door open, you're right there on leash, no body language or redirect back inside, and you practice them settling. Are you getting fussy?
So if you're a part of our online school already, or if you're not, we have quite a few videos on how to teach place. It's not exactly with that crate setup, but you just have to find how to teach place command. Find that. That's everything you need to know, and then transfer it to the crate.
I think
she's done.
Yeah, she's watching this cute little fluffy dog.
Well, she also has a poop.
Do some work.
So I think she has a
And
poop
so-
in the making.
There we go.
Some questions come in, one on Instagram and one on TikTok.
Oh, kisses.
She's got a long body.
You want to do the TikTok? It's
Let's
a corgi.
do it. Let's do it. All right.
I'm
Sorry, Jay. I'm trying to see where your question starts. I see a continued part.
Oh, do you need a minute?
Yeah, can you go with yours first?
Yeah, sure.
No, I'm just gonna go because it's the only one I have. All right.
Okay.
I know he's not supposed to be outside much until he's vaccinated. Our backyard is untouched. Can I set him out there in one area and bring him back in? Jay, if you ask more than that, I don't have anything more than just that.
Disclaimer: you should always ask your vet first. But of course, I would have my puppy out, you know, as much as I could in an area that I knew there weren't other dogs that maybe weren't vaccinated or other
backyard
animals.
is the safest place,
Yeah.
besides making a grass patch like on a patio
Yeah.
that small critters can't get to.
Yeah.
It's mainly other animals urinating on it and defecating on it because it's their defecation that holds the parasites, that holds the eggs for the worms.
And standing water.
Oh yeah, big time.
So
standing
if
water.
you just have like standing puddles in your yard for long periods of time, like not good drainage, that would be another thing to be cautious of.
I've also seen something at Petco before that's like a yard care where it literally is just a nozzle you twist on your hose and you can spray your whole yard and it kills all the bad enzymes and bacteria. I don't know if it works.
I don't know enough
but
about that.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't know enough about that to say.
It's meant for puppies that are under a certain age and they're not fully vaccinated because that's a very common thing now.
Yeah. All right, Nikki Marie says, help my medium Goldendoodle, 6-month-old, still gets overexcited with guests by jumping up. Does not do it to owners, so I guess them, okay. But anyone new, she goes crazy. So this for me is like an expectations check. What do you need? 6-month-old
I'm just
doodle.
reading it.
Okay, cool. 6-month-old doodle. So this for me is an expectations check. And what I mean by that is you have to set the puppy up over and over and over again, teaching them what you want them to do. And it also has to be with the right person. And so if I have someone come into my home, I'm going to say ignore my puppy until I can get the puppy to focus on me first, because you always want to be number one. If you can't get your puppy 6-month-old, place and sit at least, maybe not a down, but at least place and sit while someone walks into your home and you're standing right there with a leash. If you can't get that, they shouldn't be saying hi. That's my personal opinion. I think you would agree.
Same exact thing, but I also prep people before they ever come over. We put a little note card on the front door that says, do not look, talk, or touch the puppy until given permission.
Yeah. And you prep them. Be like, hey, be prepared to like pull out Instagram and watch some reels because I got to calm my puppy
You're
down.
going to be hanging out for a minute while I do the calming.
Yep, got to calm my puppy down before I even let you in the door.
Mm-hmm.
And so once that is done, important first part is crucial to set up your puppy to succeed. Otherwise, it's really not fair to expect them to behave, especially at that age. So once you've got that going for you, then you introduce the dog to the person. Tell the person to let the dog come to them. Like, don't be like, ah, like quiet, just let, I'm gonna say break and I'm just gonna let my puppy sniff you. Just ignore her. Break, sniff, excited, 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 but doesn't jump up. Good, puppy, come, place. Break, little less excited. Good, puppy, come, place. Like, help her come down a little bit before she even gets pet. Then finally, when she's actually pet, have the person, instead of reaching out this way, for a 6-month-old, for any age of dog, if we're not using food, have them kind of squat down and let the puppy come to them. And what you're really looking for is when they stop petting. So you're going to coach them. You're going to tell them, hey, can you help me train my puppy? And you're going to coach them, be like, okay, go ahead and stop petting. As soon as they stop petting, she's going to go and jump if she hasn't already. And you're going to go, no, step in, block, move back to place. Now, what do I mean by step in and block? I would, if you want to check on our online school, but I would just go to YouTube and type in balance training place command. And one of the ways to teach a puppy to calm down and reset themselves in place for stay is body language. Is body blocking, and they should understand that, or they already do with their own species.
It's instinctual to them to follow it. They're just not used to a human doing it to them.
Exactly. It's exactly what their own species needs. And so you do that, rinse and repeat. You can use food, but use it calmly. Don't make a big deal about it. Don't use it to get what you want. They've already done what you want, and then you're rewarding them. That's a really important tweak with food, especially for a 6-month-old. But the thing is, people give up. They say no, place, and then they're just like, oh, they can't do it. But that's where you have to rinse and repeat, because the puppy doesn't understand why they're being moved away until you do it several times.
And they start getting rewarded for it. They start settling down and getting more rewards for it. And they also get to start saying hi to more people because they can be calm leading up to it.
Yeah, and so the moment they're not jumping anymore, you're not resetting them in place, and then they start to get it. There's other ways to do it. You could be a little more food heavy. You could have the guest try a piece of food. That's what I do with younger puppies. I don't know how much food you use with even young. Yeah, he's not big on the
not
food.
Not much, just because I feel like the puppy doesn't actually care about the food.
That's
They're just
true.
going to take it and go right back.
That's true.
It's almost instinctual to open mouth, stick out tongue, grab food, but still be completely focused on their task.
I agree with that. However,
I'll take it. However, what you got?
I think that puppies that have been trained with food effectively, it does help channel focus.
Will you tell them what that might look like to effectively train a puppy with food if they're going like more down the positive reinforcement route? Because that's kind of what this feels like.
So for me, well, balance training is mostly positive reinforcement.
About 90%, correct.
But when they're out of their minds excited, you can't really use food anymore. And I think that's what he's thinking of, is that most puppies are out of their mind excited. And they're not really even thinking. They're just taking the food and they're going right back to it. For me, he asked, what does that look like? For me, what it looks like is I pull out a piece of food and my puppy slows down a little bit and looks at me just because I have food, the training pouch on, because we have so much habit of sit down, place, come food. Like, we work every day with the dog's food that I've created such a
instinct to look up.
Yeah, a habit. It's just pure habit that when someone comes over, and I've already calmed them down a little bit because I didn't let them just come in the door and it be a free-for-all. They're already like medium level excitement. And then I bring food out, and the puppy just slows down a little and focuses on me a little bit more. And then they're still happy about the new person, but I can, just how I'm having food, I can have that food and say come, and they more quickly and easily turn their head towards me, and I can redirect them to place without being so body language heavy. So you got to play around with that, but rinse and repeat. You set the expectation. All right, we should probably move on. Let's see. I've got another one on here.
I got a big one that I have about 4 stars next to, so that means they want me to read it.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, Judy Guda. I'm gonna call it Guda. All right, Julie Guda. Can a puppy be left in playpen for an hour or so? Wondering if it's okay for, say, while taking kids to music or something for an 8 to 9 week old puppy. Or is the crate better? Or is it basically the same as a safe playpen that has a potty area? It's different between crate and playpen because playpen tends to be a larger area. Dogs tend to roam around more, so they're more exploratory in there, and they don't settle. Sometimes they do.
May not settle.
I can't say they don't. Most of them won't, a majority. The crate is completely different in the sense that they only go in there to lay down and eventually go to sleep and settle and relax.
There's no other purpose to the crate. So it should mean more calming, more like putting your kid in the crib, go take a nap.
If you're going to be gone for an hour or so, I would say, in our opinions, I think you would agree, I would say crate personally.
Yeah,
especially just an hour for an 8 to 9 week old puppy. They can probably hold it for an hour, especially if you got one final potty before you left, like the minute before you leave. You get it?
Yeah.
The only time I'd use a playpen is, in my opinion, it's only safe if it's barren inside of it and you have one of those zip top covers that goes on top of it. But
even then,
I still think that we're going to say
depends.
that it's not our favorite. We would say crate because it's a safer more training productive alternative to use.
If you have a driven or easily excited puppy, there are a lot of safety issues with a playpen. That's what we're trying to say. Crate is much safer in the home. Now, if you have outdoor dogs, they're in playpens and areas like that all the time because they have a totally different life. In the house where there are so many things that they can get into, it can be really problematic. And you can create some issues too with them being able to get worked up. But if you have some easy dog that lays around, like you come in the door and they lift their head and they're like, hey, how's it going? And then they lay back down. That's totally different.
You could probably leave them out of the playpen and the crate.
Yeah, it's totally different. So, do keep that in mind. This is definitely depending on your individual household and personalities, but we always go for the crate.
Yep.
Okay, let's see.
While you get to that one, I'll read one more.
Okay.
Tina Burgess. I have a 12-week-old female Shihtzu, small dog, tiny bladder, just to start. During the day, she is weeing every 30 minutes. During the night, she can hold it for 5 hours. Why not in the day? Well, for one thing I think about is, I would say there's a strong possibility your dog might have a UTI. Every 30 minutes? That's a lot.
How old?
Well, 12 weeks old, but she also said she doesn't really drink that much water throughout the day. I'm going to go over that too because I know that's probably not what's actually happening. So most of the time, I always remember one of the first episodes of Cesar Milan, the dog whisperer I ever watched, was about a woman who said her dog wasn't drinking water. And when Cesar Milan went over there, he says, well, what do you do when she drinks? She goes, oh, I stand there and make sure she does. That's a ton of pressure on the dog.
Yeah.
And the dog wasn't drinking. They did an elapsed video of an 8-hour day in this woman's house, camera in the kitchen without her around it. That dog went there like 15, 20 times throughout the day to drink water, just never when she was around. So the reason I'm saying that is because your dog is probably drinking more water than you think, even if you don't think they are. So to give you an idea of how much water a dog can drink to hold back on the potty accidents, it's about a half cup, and I say about because it's not a direct exact science, about a half cup of water for every 30 pounds of body weight. So divide the 12 pounds by 30, and that's the measurement of water you're going to give,
like about
divided by ounces. Yeah. And then every 2 to 3 hours, you'll give them that water. Yeah. If the bowl's down all the time, it has low value, if not any value. The dog just goes when it wants to. I would lift that bowl up off the ground when you don't want the dog to have access to it. And then at the end of every free time, before they're going to take a little nap in the crate or the playpen, that's when I drop the water for about 30 seconds to a minute. That way, it's a resource that leaves and comes back, and now it's gaining value when it's gone and then comes back. She drinks a little bit of water, and then when you take your puppy out after an hour and a half, 2 hours of crate time, the first thing we do is give them a chance to go potty. If you're limiting, or you're not minimizing, you're limiting water, but you're still getting potty every 30 minutes, that's a vet trip, in my opinion.
I actually don't think so. I don't want to scare you. It doesn't hurt. It never hurts to check it out. I think there's other things you can look at if it was an actual UTI. I don't know. I've worked with a lot of, or I've had a lot of small breed dogs, pet sit a lot of small breed dogs early in my career that were puppies.
I have not, so. That
were puppies. And if they're roaming around, if they're following you around, getting excited about kids, coming in and out, if they're getting water kind of whenever they want, like a little here, a little here, a little there, 30 minutes is not that uncommon.
The more
I don't
movement they do, the more the bladder moves around, the more often they're going to have to go. It's just like us. You exercise, you usually have to pee a couple times during exercising. Same thing for dogs.
Yeah. If I'm playing with a small breed dog, 10 minutes, they're getting if they just had water, like play, water, 10 minutes, they're going out to potty. If they're still moving around, if they go in crate, they might last, 30 to 45. So I don't know. I think it's a size thing, but it never hurts. That's just part of it. The whole point of crate is to help them build their bladder control and to understand inside your limitations to prevent accidents.
And someone who's not using the crate would just have to put a leash on the dog's harness, and it's tied to your hip. They're your shadow. They stop and circle. You pick them up, take them outside. That's a potty. They stop and sniff. That could be a potty. So you just got to start learning your dog's routine if you're not using the crate. But again, we say crate is better. Yeah. Do you have your questions still?
I don't think all of them are coming through. Like I think I'm delayed on me. So
no, there's one long one.
No, that's a follow up.
Okay.
You have one?
Yeah.
What are your suggestions? Robinson said, something. What do you suggest?
Robin Simone.
Teaching a puppy 8 weeks old on his first day home with you. Honestly, just follow food. Like, maybe if I named my puppy Sparky.
You almost made me say a bad word on camera.
All right, I'll change it. So Dakota, I'll be like, Dakota, come, and I don't even move. I just hold down a few pieces of food. Might not even take it out of my hand. I might need to put it on the floor. Then I take a few more steps back. Dakota, come, see if I can get them to just follow food, and then follow food and crate. If they don't follow food and crate, they're going in anyway, but I could at least try. Just really, really low expectations. The first 3 days is mostly about crate, follow me around, potty schedule, maybe some play, if they will. Some puppies are pretty shy the first few days, but yeah, that's what I'm playing around with.
I like to do luring. I like to have
that's
the
luring,
dog
yeah. Yep.
in front of me on the floor, not on the table, obviously, and their head is here, and I just have a treat, and I'll put it to the nose, and I'll just move it 4 inches.
Yeah.
They follow it, good food. If they don't follow it, but it looks like they want the food still, it's just kind of like a defiance almost, guide the face, doesn't follow, set it on the ground. Yeah. They go to pick it up, grab another handful, and try to then lure them with the second handful. So it's just playing with getting them to see food in your hand and follow the food.
And if you get a puppy that's like trying to take your finger off when you first bring them home, you need to sign up for our online school.
Yep.
Because you need to teach the next 8 basic commands in the next week to 2 weeks.
Every 8 to 9 week old Mally owner is just like seeing their fingers all scarred up. Like, yeah, we need it. Call them baby sharks.
All right, Nikki Marie has a follow-up question. I have crate trained 1 hour out, 2 hours in crate training. When do I start allowing more freedom? When she's not getting into things, when she can handle it. 6 months old, isn't it? I can tell you that.
I would probably,
sorry. Oh, I was just going to say, what you can do is start tethering her to you and have her hanging out with you more. That way you can dictate where not to go and what to do. But 6 months is a little young for freedom.
I would also probably increase both of those times in crate and out of crate additional so I can start giving my dog more time out of the crate to see how they act. But also I still need to balance that with a little bit more time in the crate as well, so they have the downtime to balance it all out.
Yeah, and so you have more time too, and they should still be napping. They should still be doing a lot of napping. Most puppies will, even at 6 months old.
Oh, and teach place. Good God, teach place. If you want a dog that can exist out of the crate, how I explain to owners is place is teaching your dog to go to a designated area on command and stay there until release. Fancy hullabaloo. It's calm on command. We're teaching your dog to be out of the crate, lay on a dog bed,
and hang out
up to hours sometimes, and hang out with the family in the same way that you're sitting on the couch watching TV. That's existence. That's good.
Let's see. Michelle says, how do I get my 12-week-old to sleep through the night? Routine. He does have a routine, goes to the bathroom before bed, no water after 6 p.m., comfy and crate, but he's up every 3 hours. I think you have
What is he doing up every 3 hours? Is it for potty? Does he need to go, or does he just think he needs to go and we've taken him because we think we have to?
Yeah,
that's my question.
That could be it. Okay, so yeah, it's good that you said that, because I was just going to say it's a 12-week-old puppy, so some of that could be because it's 12 weeks old, especially if it's a small breed dog.
I feel like you should get at least 5 hours.
I agree. So maybe you could ignore the whining at the 3-hour mark and see if he has an accident or not. And maybe he whines for 15, 20 minutes and goes back to sleep. Maybe you're going to have to put him in another room so you can sleep.
And if you get a potty accident, we apologize. Cut that 5 to 4.
Yes.
Still has an accident. Cut that 4 to 3.5. No accident. All right, 3.5 is good. In 2 weeks, go up to 4.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, go up to 4.5. You get the idea.
Because it could very much be what he said, habitual. Yeah, I agree.
I just feel like you're going to get 5. I think you're going to get 5 hours.
Questions that came in if you want to
Okay. This is from
Money Bags.
Money.
Man, where do you live?
You took a good title. I want that
curious.
one. All right, my puppy is refusing her kibble and always wants to eat the same food we eat. Any suggestions? She is 4 months old. Has she gotten your food before and had a chance to eat it? Has she had a chance to eat some of the good stuff and now doesn't want to go back to her food?
It could just be the smell. You might have not done anything wrong.
There could be. I wasn't saying they did something wrong. I'm just saying maybe they dropped something on the ground, as in a kid went like this and dropped it on accident.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was.
I know.
The dog's probably gotten something. Maybe it's got a good smell. When it comes down to it, all you do is offer them their food. You see if they want it. If they don't, you retract the meal. If you leave it down for too long, it loses value. Same with the woman who's doing the water bowl on the ground. That lost value, so she couldn't get the dog to drink on command. It's the same thing with dogs and their food. However, if the dog is picky, what's the breed? Do we have a breed? What was the breed?
Oh, no breed.
No breed, okay.
12 weeks. Oh, no, I don't know.
If it's a husky, you're screwed because they will starve for weeks. But if it's just a normal dog, a dog that's not a husky or not some kind of like Dalmatian breed or Shihtzu or something, or not Shihtzu, Spitz breed, then you have a good chance that your dog will probably not eat for like 2 or 3 meals and then one day go back to eating his food. But I also have a question for you. Are you training with your kibble?
Yeah.
Are you using just treats for it? Are you on here, Money?
We have a follow-up.
Are they right? All right. She's still refusing.
Still refusing. Food?
Is it bad to keep the puppy on home food?
Probably, yeah. I mean, if you're doing any kind of seasoning, if you want a diet that is good for a dog, look up Just Food for Dogs and you could try to copy their recipe. And that's more of a like home cooked meal, basically like the style of it.
Or you could do raw food. You could do,
Yeah,
I mean,
raw
there's a whole
food.
number of things you could do.
You could do Vital pet dog food. It's like a cooked pellet style dog food.
I
That's in
like
the freezer section.
Something more convenient is real meat dog food.
That's a good one. Too,
It's in a jerky form. It's clean ingredients from what I remember. and
Zoomies is also really
Zoomies-
good.
Zoomies is good,
is one
yeah.
of the more common ones we see. We haven't seen it recently, but we used to a lot. It's possible that your dog just wants better food. You could get them back on kibble, no problem. My dog, the longest she ever went strike on food was 6 days, and I was starting to really get worried about her. But then on the 6th day, she ate her food. Dogs just go on strike.
They
It's
do,
different
yeah.
for a puppy, though.
It's natural
You can't let
fasting.
them wait that long.
No,
It's
you
different.
can't. You can't
But
with puppies.
you could try to go 1 or 2 days of offering the meal, them not wanting it, and retracting it. And
And
then
I would-
offering it again 2-3 hours later for lunch and retracting it.
And I would do more crate time when you're eating. Like if you can't, I forget the age, but if you can't have your puppy go to place and be in the corner and be back tied comfortably, meaning not pulling, barking, whining when you're eating, have them in crate and work up to being able to have them in place while you eat.
Why didn't I think of that?
I really like this one. Well, I don't like it, but I mean to answer it. My puppy snaps at Amy. My puppy snaps the whole time I am luring with food. Any suggestions? Stop luring. For one, like you don't.
Your dog's drive is probably so high that you don't need to lure
Yeah,
for food. They're
yeah.
probably going to follow you either way.
You need to use more body language and leash. I don't know how old your puppy is, but I would definitely get on a program, like start looking online. You can check out our program too, of course, but start looking online for more balance training, which is going to be where you use less food to get what you want. First, you need to calm the brain down, which is where balance training comes in. It's body language. Like if I say place and I drop a piece of kibble on place, my puppy, who like I've never taught stay, gets that piece of kibble and then tries to jump off place. If they're comfortable going onto the dog bed, I'm already going to be ready to block them and try to slow their brain down. And then I'm gonna say good and drop another piece of food. Maybe not even hand feed it because they're too nippy right now. And I'm gonna work up to them calming down. How to hold the food when you do start to feed is to hold it between your fingers and use your thumb to hold it there. That way you're like this and then you release the food so they are less chompy. But you're just really taking your time, using more leash and body language, teaching thresholds, teaching more impulse control. With food bowl, like I'll take 15 minutes to separate their food out, a little bit of food, put it down, they get up, lift it up. Put it down, they get up, lift it up. Just over and over again, start teaching this impulse control to slow the dog's brain down. That would be my focus rather than sit down, stay calm with food lure.
And I personally think you should only try this for a week or two, and if it doesn't improve significantly within a week or two,
Get help.
Which it should in a
It
week or two.
should, yeah, get help.
You need help because
Yeah.
this will only get worse
I agree.
if it doesn't get better.
I agree. Louisa says, if I don't have age and breed, if you guys can put age and breed, it's super useful.
always helps.
I forgot to mention that, but we're gonna assume like 5-month-old puppy, mid-sized puppy. If my dog hates his bed, how do I teach place?
Reward more for going on and then getting off versus going on and staying on. So when we teach dogs how to do place or down or stay, down is a more common one where dogs really don't like to stay down. How we teach it is we have our lure. We
I've
ask
got
for
7.5-month-old female Corgi.
Well, that's an older dog. I'm gonna say
Not
I'm gonna
big
finish it off either way, just because this is more for like the puppy brain, not so much the older dog brain. But I'm gonna ask my dog for a sit.
7.5
I'm gonna
months
ask for a
old.
down.
Months. It's got to be months. This is puppy channel.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Sit down, and the minute all 4 elbows touch the ground, I'm actually going to say break, and not reward staying in the down, but actually reward leaving the down to take the food from my hand. So when I'm teaching place, it's come, place, and I'm willing to bet you they're going to resist going onto the bed. Put 1 foot on the opposite side of the bed to anchor it in place, or on the part closest to you so you're stepping on it. Create enough tension to get them on it. Step in front of the butt where they're going to try to back off of it, and just create almost like a V with your feet so their butt locks into it, and just freeze for a second. They're going to push back, freeze, because they can't go any farther. They're probably going to look at you, and then I'm going to step back, say break. Would you give food on the break, do you think?
I'm not totally even sure what you're saying to do.
I would then step back and break and release my dog from place. So now let's talk about what we just got. We got a dog that begrudgingly went onto the bed and then was allowed to get off. You know what I'm going to say?
This is for a 7.5-month-old, by the way.
And then was
Not a
allowed
puppy.
to get off of food, or allowed to get off a place for food. So what I promoted was him going on and being allowed to get off, so there's low pressure. And I'm going to do that 5, 10, 15 times. And eventually my dog is going to get a bit more comfortable walking onto it. When my dog voluntarily walks onto that place 85% of the time, then I'm going to start asking for a sit, good treat, break, release. Or maybe even just place, he's on it all 4 feet, good treat, and then break and give another treat. Break is our release word. It's how we release dogs.
Yeah,
to
you
place.
can use whatever
or
word you
threshold, you can use break, free, okay, whatever you guys want. And I'm going to start gradually getting more and more duration on place for food, and rapid reward and multi-rewarding to promote the stay on place. And then I'm going to release with break. That's how I would personally acclimate a 7.5-month-old dog to going on the place, because that's an older dog. What would you do?
I would spend a week not using any of your dog beds, and I would pull your kitchen mat out. I would go on Amazon and I would get a cot, and I would flip the cot upside down, where they, especially Corgi with short legs, they don't even go up on the cot. It's just different than the flooring. So you flip the cot upside down, you have a bath mat, you have a kitchen mat that you kind of pull out a little bit that is just different from the flooring, and they're on leash, and you just have them walk on. Start by just dropping a piece of food on place and then break. Just like he said, place, break, place, break. There is no like stay in this spot. Once they are, I would also take a storage bin, like you get at Walmart, and I would take the lid, go up in your attic, grab a storage lid, flip it upside down, have them walk on the lid. Like, have them start walking on different surfaces, targeting different things underfoot. There could be a lack of confidence there. If you get some serious resistance, they will not follow leash pressure if you haven't taught leash pressure. So I don't know if you've taught what leash pressure means yet to be able to be as clear with leash as he mentioned. I would definitely do that, because it's actually a great bonding thing between the two of you. But if they don't understand leash pressure, you could be there all day.
You're just going to resist.
Yeah. And if a Corgi's really nervous about something, I might skip dinner, and then the next morning, see if they just drop all of their food on the weird surface and have them tentatively step in and get all of their food. No leash, no nothing, no expectations. That's another way to build confidence. But I might even try it, just to try it. I might even pick up the Corgi, put them on the cot, and then when they flew off, like, oh my God, break, food, pick them up, put them on, and then before long, after 3-4 times, they're hopping right on there for food. So there's a lot of different ways you could build this up. Eventually, you're flipping that cot over, and they're excited to hop up for their piece of food, right? Also, you stepping on it can be very, very helpful. You actually step onto the cot. Them seeing you step on the different surface, the mat, whatever it is. Do that for a week or two, and then channel back into the dog beds. And then again, if you're not doing like an official program, like we have our Puppy Academy online school, at least hop onto YouTube and just look up balanced dog training with place. Because your next step is what he mentioned, building your place duration, which comes through blocking and food reward. But the main thing is that he said that I want to make sure doesn't get kind of railroaded with all the other information is you rewarding for them coming off. In fact, you're just letting them fly off. Like, you're not trying to keep them on there. There's no sit, there's no down. It's 4 feet, and if they just run across it, it's all fine, because you're just finding something to build on top of, and if you ask for too much too soon, you end up getting more resistance.
I want to be clear, though, you can't allow them to back off of place. It's still got to be forward momentum to get off of place.
Well, I disagree the first week or two.
You're saying the dog can walk onto place and literally walk back off of it?
Yeah.
I disagree with that one.
Absolutely.
I only disagree purely because I think they should always have forward momentum, and if they're backing off, they never truly understood the concept of why they're
But
even
they will. I don't have to rush them. If they feel, for me, for a young puppy, an adult, it might be a little different. But for me, if a young puppy does that the first few times, no big deal, because I know that once they're comfortable stepping on it, I know I can build on that. I think where he's coming from, and this is where I would agree with him, is that if that is happening throughout the whole time, if I spend 10 minutes working on this and they never recover from that, that's a problem. Like, then it becomes a bad habit, and then I do have to show them like more forward motion. Like, I don't know if I got to put a stake down in front of it. I don't know if I'm going to be heavier handed with the leash. I don't really know until I work with the puppy.
You got to know what kind of dog you're
because your puppy's a little on the older side, older puppy side.
You don't know if they're pushy, if they're submissive, dominant, whatever it is.
But if every time I brought out something new, or the first few times of every training session for a week, they did that just the first few times, I'm okay with that. But if it lingers the entire time, I have a problem with it too. So, anyway,
I will begrudgingly say though, the flipping over the bed, damn, that's good stuff.
It's super helpful.
I totally should have added
and
that
you
to
step
mine.
on it, and you step on it as well. All right, guys. Hopefully that gives you some ideas to start with. And sorry we didn't get to your question. We got to run. I hope you'll see us same time, same place, 1 o'clock next week. Bye, guys.
Oh wait, awkward smile.
Awkward smile.